people out in Atlanta listening to us. And you know Jamaica's on the check-in, Bridgetown is on the check-in. So everybody that's listening to us, Irie Jam Radio. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're in tune to Let the Cox Crow right here on Irie Jam Radio, your ultimate Caribbean radio experience. David Levy, the pepper sauce boss, the original rude boy. David Levy is in the building. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Let me say good morning to Mr. Kari Edwards.
Good morning, David. I thought I was saying Bed-Stuy.
Good morning, Kyrie.
I thought it was Bed-Stuy because I know that's where you reside, but my fault. I had it all messed up.
You did have it messed up. You were speeding, sir. It is time for us to jump into our Who You Reppin', one of our favorite segments here. And today we have Senator Sanders on. And by the way, Kari, I think he's one of the best dressed politicians. Very charismatic, this gentleman.
Charismatic, best dressed.
Yes.
And for the only politician that did his own preview to let the world know he's on Who's You Reppin'. So
right, that part. I love that. So we are joined by Senator James Sanders Jr. is a Democratic member of the New York State Senate, representing the 10th Senate District in Queens since January 2013. He grew up in the Hamel houses in Far Rockaway, shout out to Far Rock, served in the U.S. Marine Corps, and earned a bachelor's degree in history with a focus on African American studies from Brooklyn College. Before joining the State Senate, Sanders served on the New York City Council, where he was the first African American chair of the Economic Development Committee. In the Senate, he chairs the Committee on Banks and leads the task force on minority and women-owned business enterprises, advocating for economic equity, consumer protections, and community investments. Sanders has championed legislation on foreclosure protections, business opportunities for MWBEs, transit equity, and the establishment of a state reparations commissions. And I'm excited to have this conversation. Let's say a warm good morning to Senator Sanders. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you and Irie Jam family. It's good to be here. It's good to be back. We even got Brother Levy here. Boy, what more can you ask for?
How you doing, sir? Good morning.
Oh, I feel good. Greetings from the talented 10th Senatorial District. We're looking forward to having y'all on the beach when we do our carnival.
That's right. That's right. Queens has a really big carnival that happens in your district.
Yes, we put it on and y'all take it out.
Yes, this is true. Now, Senator Sanders, as chair of the Senate Banks Committee, what does that role actually entail day to day? And how does it shape financial policy that impacts everyday New Yorkers?
Well, one of the things that we as a community miss is money and what to do with it. Once in a while, we decide we want to buy a house, we want to buy a business, we want to go to school, and we go to a bank, and usually we are turned down. There are reasons for that. And I'm working on those reasons. And I'm working on the external part where they're turning you down needlessly. And I want to make sure that you have that ability. And that's what I spend my time in doing. And I've done it several different ways, and I can tell you about that.
Now, as deed theft has become a major concern in many communities, what is your assessment of how serious this issue is, and what legislative or enforcement solutions do you believe are most effective?
Well, when we talk about building Black wealth and Black excellence, how can you build if somebody's stealing it from you? So one of the first things you have to do is make sure no one steals it from you. And there's several ways of doing that. And for more information on that, they can call my office. I'll give you a telephone number at the end of that. But we also have to have strong laws to let people know that if they do this, if you do the crime, you will do the crime. The time. Let's do this right. And under those conditions, we are working on those things. But we, more than anything, we want to make sure that we don't get hit by it. So I'd rather you keep your money in your pocket than we have to chase down criminals and put them in jail.
So Senator Sanders, I've known you a very long time. You've known my mom. And, you've always been a really upstanding gentleman. And so last night, I'm from Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn College, too, for you saying that. But we were having a conversation of some, Black community leaders. And what we discussed was about not building, like a lot of older legislators, not building a bench. You, however, my brother, have built a bench, right? Khalil Anderson has been part of your legacy. You know, we had Latoya LeGrand on last week. You know, somebody you're supporting. Tell me how was important for you to build for that next generation of leaders in our legislative community.
Well, one of the things we have to realize is that we're not staying, none of us are staying here forever. And if we're serious about building a community, then you build institutions, you build structure, you build things of that nature. One of the major ways of doing it is to remember that Asian saying that says, if you are to prepare for 1 year, you plant wheat. If you're preparing for 10 years, plant trees. But if you are preparing for 100 years, educate children. So we spend our time educating and training the next district, and I have produced 3 council members, 3 assembly people, 1 borough president, Queens borough president. And you used to watch one of my main stars on TV, one of my Caribbean stars, as a matter of fact. The press secretary of Joe Biden was trained by me, Karine Jean-Pierre.
Wow.
I could have told them that they couldn't break her. She worked for me. So we are working hard at preparing the next generation so that we can take all of these lessons that we've learned and not forget them generation after generation.
Powerful work,
Sir,
indeed.
Far Rockaway, you represent Far Rockaway.
The edge of the earth, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit of the challenges you have dealing with things happening in Far Rock after you've had the situation with the what was that? You had the
You talking about Sandy?
I'm just getting the blank, but you had the Far Rock where you guys had the
Hurricane Sandy.
You had the earthquake. No, you had not the earthquake, but you had the storm. The storm that hit heavily and wiped you guys out, and you are constantly being able to bring it back and build. What is there in store for your place?
Well, the next moves are going to be sweeter than ever. We are working on a business incubator. We have to find a place to train our new entrepreneurs. We have to find a place where we can buy our community back. Because is it really your community if you own nothing in it? If you don't own your homes, if you don't own your business, is it really your community? So we are working on that. It's better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. So we're going to work on teaching people how to own businesses, how to buy and keep your home, how to do all of these things and establish wealth, and how to celebrate life by listening to Irie Jam. And you got to you got to rock with Brother Levy, or else you're just not doing it right.
Can I borrow? Can I say that I borrowed that? You gotta light one light one candle and not curse the darkness? I absolutely love that. And I want to talk about, as you talk about lighting that one candle, the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, who lit the way for so many. Talk to us about what you think his legacy is.
Well, I actually marched with Brother Jackson, Reverend Doctor. I brought him to Southeast Queens. We were undergoing a terrible foreclosure problem in 2009, 2007. And I brought Jesse Jackson to our district where we marched through the streets of Laurelton, 250 strong, fighting against this. So he was a giant in many ways. For one, he was very tall. This guy is around 6'5" and you know, has quite the stature. And I found him to be very humble. I found him to be accessible, humble, didn't do much talking, but he did a lot of listening. You're not going to replace somebody like that easily. The transition, he carried the baton from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, but he also was involved with the Black Power period. He was one of the leaders during the Black Power period and brought us to this period where we are. And it is true, a mighty tree has fallen in our community. We can't recover from that. Mm-hmm. However, if the tree, the mighty tree that has given us shade and comfort and protection, if that tree doesn't fall, the young trees can't grow. The young trees can't grow and they will never reach their full potential. So mighty trees must get out the way for the new generation, for the next generation of Jesse Jacksons and beyond to come up. I'm helping to raise them locally. We all should be working on the next generation.
Important.
So, Senator Sanders, again, your career is a stellar career. City council, community activist. Now you're literally in the Senate. So, what we're trying to do on Who's You Reppin' is just trying to explain to our listeners the different levels of government, which you've literally been in. What is the difference for you from city council, the day-to-day local, to now being a state elected? In the difference, how could you explain to our listeners what would they expect that difference to be?
Well, I started at the school board, and that is the most local that you can get. That's the smallest level. It has to do with how wide your wingspan is. How wide do you represent? I now represent the entire state. I am in charge of banking for the entire state. From the Senate chairman of the banking committee, which means that if we are being swindled in Utica, if we're being foreclosed in Rochester, that is my domain. My greatest contribution, I would argue, is reparations. The bill to study and do reparations in New York. I'm blessed to say that that's mine, and I'm working behind the scenes to make sure that this 400-year-old crime is brought to an end and justice prevails.
Now, Senator Sanders, it is Women's History Month, and you've been a strong advocate for minority and women-owned business enterprises, MWBEs. What concrete actions or policies have you advanced and that you believe have actually increased participation and opportunity?
I've not only simply worked with women. I told you of one, the press secretary, but I've got another gem that's coming out, Latoya LeGrand, who is going to be magnificent. But we also have been working on the issues of mortality, of ways that the Black women especially are dying in childbirth. And we have to work on those issues and make sure that our hospitals are not only adequately funded, but our doctors are retrained so that they understand that when a woman says she's in pain, it means she is in pain. It means that you need to figure out and don't just say, "Oh, you're exaggerating" or something of that nature. Every once in a while we take a moment and celebrate. And on the 22nd, we are doing a salute to Black women. We're doing a salute to women actually, and if I'll give my telephone number so that anyone who wants to come to this free event where I'm serving dinner, my friends, and we do chicken right. My name is Sanders, remember. So, under 11 different herbs and spices, I'm trying to tell you. And some of them, jerk spices, curry. We know a little something about this. So, my telephone number is a 718 number, 523 3069. 523 3069. And I'd be delighted to see you there and to speak with you on how we can not only celebrate in the evening enjoying the beauty of women, but how we can make sure that those women have everything that the society offers everybody else: a good job, a good business, a good career, owning something, your own home, etc. These are all the ways that we celebrate women, not just with flowers, but with bread too, with the ability to do for yourself.
Some of the things that I've been, blessed to show up to, your Juneteenth event, your Women's History event, your carnival, right? What is the genesis of you putting that relationship to community, especially our Caribbean community, in place? Like, what makes you understand the different diasporas that now, especially you next to Eastern Parkway, my brother, you got the second best carnival in New York City. You know what I mean? So how has that happened?
Well, we partner with Eastern Parkway, so we have to steal some of their fire. Brother Levy can tell you how we have taken some of the beauty of the Parkway. Now, we'll never compete with the Parkway. Let's be clear. But for those of us who are not used to a million people at a time, then come to Southeast Queens where we only have 3,000 people. But at the end of it, my friends, we do fireworks. We do have a literal firework display because we're right on the beach. The genesis of this is the Caribbean people. They are vibrant. These Stone Rock children are vibrant children. They are amazing people. Now, if you said it yourself, people would say you're bragging. But my genesis is the African Americans here, the South. So if I say it, I can praise you. And it's not me bragging, it's me uplifting. And I have seen what you do in your carnival. And I have said, this is what our people need to do. Why should you stop doing those great things when you come to America? Yes, it's cold and we got too much snow, it's true, but we have the fire within us. And that fire blazes on the Saturday, right, the last Saturday in August. That fire blazes. The genesis is the Caribbean people themselves and all of us who gather together in Southeast Queens and say, Brooklyn is good. No argument with Brooklyn. At least not on the radio. But but we do it a little different in Queens. We have our own Queen spin, and you need to come and see it.
I'm a proud product of Southeast Queens, Rosedale. Shout out to all my
what a
Rosedale.
smart woman.
Yes. Now, Senator Sanders, I do want to say thank you for what you do. I have seen you in action. I've watched you. You're very charismatic, very light on your feet. And I just want to thank you for the work that you have put in on behalf of your constituents and just the New York State on a whole. For someone listening right now, someone who may have aspirations of running for office or being of service, what would you tell them this morning?
I would tell them, look for who is the greatest out there. You want to learn from the best, and then you want to do better. You need to apprentice yourself. You need to go and quit talking and learn. Anyone can teach you how to run. Very few people can teach you how to win. If you want to know how to win, come to my office. And remember, I'm a Marine. We are going to serve these people. We're going to deliver to them in spite of whatever obstacles that we deal with. I'll never hit you. I'll never yell at you. I'll never scream. I don't curse, none of that stuff. But you are going to serve the people. And if you can survive me, then you'll be ready for the world. And I would suggest find the best, learn from them, and then do better. This is what I teach. And if anyone wants to learn it, please find me because school's in session.
So we have, I think we got a student in the studio who might be coming to your class at some point. But also I have a shameless plug. I'm thinking 2027 Woman of Distinction honoree could be this lady I'm sitting next to if your staff so sees fit. I could get a bio over to you for Cynthia Shea Clark.
Why, thank you, sir.
Who does a lot of amazing work here. But I also think we're going to get in your class soon, Senator Sanders.
No, absolutely. What's that number? 718-523-3069. I'm going to call you as soon as we off. Senator Sanders, before you go, I'm just going to allow you the platform to talk to our listeners, to encourage them, especially in the climate and the temperature that we are facing today with what's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the wars. Just what message of hope would you leave with our listeners today?
Wars and rumors of war. My friends, I would alert you that we have been here before. We have been people born in the storm. We who have survived the transatlantic shipping, We who survived the capture in Africa, brought to different islands, separated. Some of us, my mother brought to Jamaica. My father brought to the Caribbean because they could get 5 more cents for him there. My sister to Guyana because there's 10 more cents there. Me to America, they got 15 more cents. And we have to understand that we need to learn how to disagree without becoming disagreeable. We have to learn that you can't win this one by yourself and that we are all one. That as long as you can understand that you have an African root, then you can put aside these petty notions of this group being superior to that group, and we can look at who's taking from all of us, and we can figure out how to win. We have survived 400 years. You come from a people that took pennies after slavery and created universities, hospitals. With no education, we did all of these great things. We are the children of Marcus Garvey, of Fannie Lou Hamer, of Malcolm X, of Martin Luther, of all of it, Padmore. I mean, there's so many people that we are the children of, and this blood runs deep within us. And under those conditions, you just need to remember that you draw your water from an ancient well, my friends. And if you're not getting enough, it's because you're using a thimble. And you need to learn more of yourself, widen your ladle, widen your cup, so that you can drink. So in the thirsty days, as we find ourselves in the difficult days, we have to understand how our people in days gone by did it, so that we can do it even better.
Senator Sanders, thank you so much for this enlightening conversation this morning. We look forward to watching you continue to grow and to help us here in the Southeast Queens as well as New York State. We wish you well on your journey. Your number is again
718-523-3069. I will see you in class.
See you in class, Senator Sanders.
Sir, I just want to let you know that you're not only a man that walks the walk, but you talk the talk. You talk the talk and you walk the walk. Enough respect.
Well, I listen to you on the radio, brother. I mean, I got it made.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We wish you all the best.
Be well. Much respect.
Be well. That is Senator Sanders. 2 minutes to the top of the hour. People will be right back with more Let the Cocks Crow right here on Irie Jam Radio.